Welcome to the 172nd installment of Ear to the Ground, the Land Stewardship Project's podcast on family farming, sustainable agriculture, local food systems, and local democracy. I'm Brian DeVore, editor of the Land Stewardship Letter. After getting a degree in equine science in the late 1990s, Sara Morrison spent several years traveling the country preparing other people's horses for shows. It seemed like the dream job for someone who from an early age believed she would spend the rest of her life on the back of a horse. But around 2005, she got burnt out on the constant traveling and decided to pursue a different dream, raising food for local markets. She settled in the St. Croix River Valley near Minnesota's Twin Cities and began doing some serious gardening. Sara gained key insights into the local food market as a produce manager for a local co-op and eventually launched the Backyard Grocery, a kind of gardening consulting business. Through this initiative, she would meet with clients in the spring, establish their gardens, and then visit regularly throughout the growing season to provide guidance. Sara also began raising produce on land her mother, Lois, owned in Wisconsin, garnering valuable experience in producing food on a larger scale. In 2009, Sara and Lois decided they needed guidance on how to set their future farming goals and eventually reach them, so they enrolled in the Land Stewardship Project's Farm Beginnings course. While taking the course, they participated in classes led by established farmers from the area who presented on business planning, marketing, and most importantly, goal setting. As Sara says, every high school student should take Farm Beginnings because it helps you figure out what you want to do in life. With the help of the class, Morrison figured out that what she wanted to do in life was produce food for local markets, preferably on land she owned. She established a community-supported agriculture operation and started raising produce on borrowed acres. In 2015, the 40-year-old wrapped up her fourth year of operating a CSA farm. During the growing season, the Backyard Grocery now provides weekly produce shares to around 14 members while marketing vegetables to local co-ops and restaurants. Besides Farm Beginnings, Morris has taken LSP's Journeyperson course, which provides support for farmers who have a few years of farm startup and management under their belt and are working to take their operations to the next level. Journeyperson participants also qualify for a matched savings account to help finance improvements and additions to their farm. In 2013, Morrison bought 15 acres near River Falls, Wisconsin, providing the Backyard Grocery a permanent home. Besides raising produce on her farm, Sara is also contemplating expanding into grass-fed beef production and has recently acquired a few Galloway cow-calf pairs. I recently took a tour of the Backyard Grocery and talked to Morrison about how her garden consultancy business got her started, as well as how Journeyperson is helping her move forward on her farming goals.
I started doing the vegetable garden consulting because I felt like there were other people who were like me starting out their first gardens and could have used some help, someone to come and visit and hold their hand and talk to them about what was happening in the garden and how to do it properly so that they got a good yield. Through the various customers that I had, the schedule of events would be that we would meet in the spring and plan the garden, have 2 plantings in the spring, and then throughout the season, it would be a weekly visit like piano lessons where they would learn how to take care of their garden and how to harvest it, and often I would leave them with recipes. As it turned out, though, by the end of the season, what I preferred was my own garden. And if I was going to go from weedy patch to weedy patch all season long, I thought I might as well just be my own giant weedy patch instead of everyone else's weedy patch. So that's how I transitioned into farming from that.
And right now you're doing a CSA, you have some wholesale accounts with the vegetables and herbs, and then you've started to get your feet a little bit wet in livestock. One of the things you did after you took Farm Beginnings and you had kind of gotten going for a couple of years is then you also took the Journeyperson course. You had a fair bit of experience by that time, and you had taken Farm Beginnings and networked with folks in the area. There's a really good network of people in this area, it seems like, who are doing different types of farming. But what was it about the Journeyperson that you felt like you needed, I guess, that extra postgraduate experience, or what was it about that attracted you?
I think for me, I love the learning. I love the holistic management, the financial planning, as well as the life planning and goal setting that goes along with that. And I wanted to get further into working more with that system, as well as, it can't be denied, the matched savings was an excellent incentive, and the mentorship that comes along with that to really get to know a seasoned farmer really well. And also I found it just to be super enjoyable to get to know my other Journeyperson farmers too, and watch their families and their businesses grow over the last few years.
And it sounds like you've been able to. There is a good network in this area of people who are doing similar things to what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's quite a few people, and even just since moving to River Falls, I've made several farmer friends that are a little bit older, kind of like me, taking a different path in their farm career, and it's really been a great network. Lots of support, lots of encouragement. It's been fantastic.
Going back a little bit to you're doing the CSA and the wholesale accounts, part of your background, too, is you've worked as a produce manager for, I think, 2 local co-ops. That I would think, must be a huge plus in marketing in that you kind of know what people want a little bit, or you kind of have a feel for what customers like.
Yeah, and I think the easiest thing about having produce manager experience is I also know how they want the produce packed when they receive it. They know how big the bunches they want, and it's easier if I've already worked with those bunches to pack them just like they're used to seeing from the warehouse or from California or some other place. So knowing how the produce should look and how it should be packed is really a bonus. When I work with the produce managers, I say, I have this for sale. They say, okay, bring me this many, and they know what they're going to get. They know how it's going to look. They know they can put it right out on the floor, ready to sell.
Now that you're a few years down the road, have you started to kind of step back and say, okay, this is where I'd like to be in 5 years? Or are you still kind of got your nose to the grindstone and not able to look up?
It's a little bit of both of those. Well, I have my nose to the grindstone picking beans, for example. I'm often dreaming of where I will be in 5 years. Ideally, I would like to have more year-round production with root cellaring and hoop house production. And I'd like to start figuring out a way to do things that are a little less heavy. So more herbs, greens, things like that, instead of watermelons, squash, and potatoes.
Well, now the most important question of all. You had at one time thought you were going to basically live the rest of your life on the back of a horse. That was part of your background, was showing horses and working for people in the horse business. What is the biggest, I guess, did that world prepare you for this, or is it so different that there's just no comparison?
I would say there's no comparison when it comes to comparing the people that I worked with in the horse business and the people that I'm working with now. But one thing the horse business did do is it taught me how to work. And that is, I think that goes with the dirty life. Working on a farm is working on a farm. Doesn't really matter what kind of farm. It prepared me.
For more information on LSP's Farm Beginnings program and the Journeyperson course, see www.farmbeginnings.org. If you have comments or suggestions about this podcast, contact Brian DeVore at bdevore@landstewardshipproject.org, or you can call 612-722-6377. Thanks to Laura Morgendale, a Western Minnesota musician, for Ear to the Ground's theme music. And a special thank you to all of Land Stewardship Project's members who make initiatives such as this podcast possible. If you're not a member, visit landstewardshipproject.org to learn how you can support LSP. Thanks for listening.